You are now listening to Talk Your Jits podcast.
Hello and welcome to Talk Your Jits podcast. This podcast is, as the name implies, all about jiu-jitsu. I'm your host, Lamar Smith, and today's guest is a purple belt who trains at Glory Mountain Grove, located in Mountain Grove, Missouri. Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Tokhozoglu. I knew I was going to do it.
Dude, you got it right. You got it right, though.
Okay, all right. How you doing today, brother?
Good, man. Thanks for having me on the show.
Oh, man, the pleasure is all mine, man. It's always a good time to sit down and talk about jiu-jitsu.
Yes, sir.
Well,
Hell yeah.
Well, let's get the party started, man. If you want to formally introduce yourself again, by all means, and let's hear about your jiu-jitsu journey.
Well, my name's Paul Tokhozoglu. Thanks for having me. I've been training in judo and jiu-jitsu for about 12 years. My dad is a black belt in judo, and he got me started training in the martial arts when I was just a kid. Like the first time that I put on a gi, I think I was 7. But I didn't actually stick with the martial arts. As a kid, I now as an adult, I'm kicking myself. But as a kid, I quit on it, and I didn't really like it very much. And but I was kind of like off and on. I took a handful of judo classes, throughout my youth, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I got an orange belt in judo. But I probably trained maybe for a year over the course of 18 years of being a kid. Maybe roughly a year of mat time. So basically nothing. And then I became an adult. I got out of high school, and I gained a ton of weight. And I started smoking cigarettes, and I was drinking, and I was partying, and just kind of living like the college freshman lifestyle and stuff like that. And I didn't really have any direction, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So I decided that I wanted to join the military because I'd always kind of been fascinated by the military, and I just felt like I needed to do something, and I felt like the military would give me a foundation to do something, to do that next thing. And I literally had no idea what I wanted to do. So, but all that I knew, I was like, man, I've got to do something. Military sounds good. And I had to lose weight because I was 225 pounds. So I had to lose weight to do it. And I remembered judo. I remembered that judo was a really tough workout. So I got back into judo purely just because I wanted to lose weight. Like, it wasn't for self-defense. It wasn't because I wanted to I hadn't even heard of the UFC. I found out about the UFC later. You know what I mean? So it was just purely off of weight loss. That was it. And and it was great, and I jumped right in. And I got really into it. And they had jiu-jitsu class right after judo class. So I found out about jiu-jitsu just because the academy I was training at had them both back to back. And if someone has never trained in judo before, it's essentially the same martial art. Judo and jiu-jitsu, this is a different conversation can get into, but they're really the same martial art. Just with basically just a different rule set. Wrestling too. Wrestling, judo, and jiu-jitsu, it's just a different rule set that separates them, but it's the same martial art essentially. But anyway, I digress. So I got into jiu-jitsu through judo, and again, it was purely off of weight loss. I was like, oh, there's a similar martial arts class that's happening right after the one that I'm at. I can double my workout, and I'll burn twice as many calories. And that's what I did. So, but I literally was like, oh, what's this? It's a similar martial art. I'll just try it out. Screw it. It was again purely just off of weight loss,
Right.
And I got into it, and I just fell in love with it, and I absolutely loved both of them, judo and jiu-jitsu. And I got out of the Army in 2020. So fast forward a little bit, I went to college and I did the ROTC program, and I lost 65 pounds in 6 months of doing martial arts.
Oh, wow.
So I was able to lose the weight, and I was able to join ROTC. And I graduated and became an Army officer about 3 years later. And then I spent about 6 years on active duty. And I got to live in Germany, and I got to travel all over Europe and train jiu-jitsu. And, during that time, just fell in love with jiu-jitsu. And I started podcasting about it. I started interviewing people. And I started my first podcast in 2016. about jiu-jitsu. It's called the Matrix Podcast. You can still listen to it on YouTube. But yeah, fast forward a little bit more. I got out of the Army in 2020, and judo and jiu-jitsu has now really become my passion. Like, I'm not really I got way more into jiu-jitsu than I expected. And the Army stuff not as much, So it's funny. It's like jiu-jitsu served me to get into the Army, but then I ended up just getting so obsessed with jiu-jitsu that I just wanted to get the hell out of the Army as fast as possible so I could make jiu-jitsu my full-time thing.
Right.
And go all in on what I love doing, which is jiu-jitsu, and podcasting about it and stuff like that. And then last year I started the Jiu-Jitsu Outlet Project, which is all about trying to spread awareness about how jiu-jitsu helps with mental health. So yeah, that's what I'm doing now. That's what the new podcast is all about. Just sharing stories about how jiu-jitsu helps with martial arts. Sorry if that was a bit long-winded.
No,
There's
continue.
my life story.
I was like, please continue. Please continue.
But yeah, so I started the new podcast, which is just all about how jiu-jitsu helps with mental health and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's been a big passion of mine. That's kind of what I've been working on the last year or so. And yeah, life is good. Other than that, I got a brown belt in judo back in college, but I haven't actually trained in judo since college. So it's been like 11 years since I've actually like stepped into a judo class. So I've just been in jiu-jitsu like all that time. But again, like from my perspective, they're really the same martial art. So like it doesn't change too much from where I'm sitting. And I prefer the jiu-jitsu rules. Like, I don't know if you've ever competed in judo, but I'm not a fan of the judo rule set. So I'd much rather compete in jiu-jitsu, but like my style is very judo based. You know what I mean? Like I really like the judo throws and the stand-up game. And I really like all the like kind of signature submissions of judo, like the clock choke and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, hope that makes a little bit of sense about my journey. But yeah, I'm not currently training judo, I guess is what I'm trying to say, but I would if there was an academy nearby. But I love the stand-up part of the art. And I mean, I love the ground part too. I love leg locks. I love practicing all that stuff. And yeah, I'm hoping to get a brown belt here pretty soon. And yeah, I've been a purple belt for 6 years at this point.
Wow.
But I wasn't training for about 2 or 3 of those years because I had a divorce and I also had a concussion and a few other things happened. So I did take some time off. So active training about 3 years at purple belt. So
gotcha.
Yeah, that's me.
So that time is definitely coming.
Yeah, man, I feel it. I feel it for sure.
Yeah, and that's dope about you talking about mental health and how jiu-jitsu helped you with that, because we did an episode with the gentleman and we was talking about mental health and whatnot, and I was like, oh, that's a good topic, but I felt that it was gonna go for a very, very long time. But definitely gonna have to bring him back and just redo another episode about that. But I can totally agree with that, with jiu-jitsu helping with mental health, because a person who deals with that stuff, I can honestly say, like, if I wasn't doing jiu-jitsu, we'd probably be having a totally different conversation. Well, we probably wouldn't have a conversation at all, but definitely jiu-jitsu has got me through a lot of stuff, a lot of dark times, a lot of sad times, and like without it, man, it'd be pretty bad, pretty bad.
Yeah, man, me too. I mean, that's what Jiu-Jitsu Outlet is all about. It's about how Jiu-Jitsu outlet for us to become better people and improve our mental health and contribute to society and all that good stuff. Because yeah, that's what I found, man, just doing the podcast and just living the last 12 years training. is that all of us, like, we get into it for all these reasons. Like, for me, it was weight loss. For other people, it's self-defense. For someone else, it might be they want to take an MMA fight, or something like that. But the reason they stick around is for all the mental health benefits.
Yeah.
And also because of the community and the camaraderie that gets formed at the gym with your teammates, like the team atmosphere, the tribe, like the brotherhood. It's something biological. That's what I found, like, doing this show and just talking with everyone. Like,
Mm-hmm.
those are the two big things that I found, is like every single person who does it for a long time, they say the mental health is like the main reason they keep going. And they also say the team is one of the main reasons they keep going. Very few people are like, oh yeah, I keep coming because I just love kicking ass. I just love winning tournaments. Like,
Right.
most people who do it are like, oh yeah, the tournaments are cool, winning is great, but the reason I am still here is because my brothers, or because I'm secretly a crazy person, and if I didn't have this, I'd be out, I'd be in prison or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
And it's like that, and it's crazy. Every single person I talk to, it's the same story. We're all a bunch of crazy axe murderers who just have this this jujitsu thing that we do that lets us, like, cope with society. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful. But that's what the show's about. It's not about, like, triangle chokes and leg locks, just because there's so many other shows about that. Like,
Yeah.
my friend Ryan Ford, he does the BJJ Fanatics podcast. Like,
Okay.
go listen to his show.
Oh, I do.
Like,
I listen to it. I listen to it a lot on Spotify. That was kind of one of the first podcasts that I found when I was looking for a jiu-jitsu podcast, because I was getting so tired of listening to music at work.
yeah.
So I was, found his. I found I think it's called BJJ Strength.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was another one I found, but I don't think he hasn't done a new episode on that one in a while, which is kind of sad. But hopefully, one day he do bring that podcast back. But yeah, I definitely listen to it.
Dude, that's awesome. Yeah.
So yeah,
There's
man.
a lot of great podcasts out there, man. So I guess what I try to do is talk more about the stuff about off the mats. Like, I think that that's really important. It doesn't get talked about enough.
Yeah.
And it's the main thing. So we should talk about it more.
It should, like, I guess you want to say, like, the normal side of jiu-jitsu, and that's the the main reason I started this one, this podcast, because, like, when you do listen to, like, jiu-jitsu podcasts, it can sometimes be intimidating when you hear like you hear like Gordon Ryan, and it's like, yeah, he's been doing jiu-jitsu since birth, and he's he's doing so much stuff that's just like you would never thought you'd be able to do in jiu-jitsu, versus hearing just the normal guys, like the 9-to-5ers, the ones that's like, I work 2 jobs, I got a family, I do jiu-jitsu because of XYZ, and I'll get that feedback from people who don't listen to jiu-jitsu, who enjoy it because of the fact that the people that's on the show are so normal.
Yeah. I think that that's a great thing about the jiu-jitsu community too, is like, we're all a bunch of pretty down to earth people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's almost like a big international fraternity. Like, I've gotten to train and travel all over. When I was in the Army, I got to be stationed in Germany, which was great. And I got to travel all over Europe for a while. And you can just drop in anywhere, like literally any city in the world. You can go to a jiu-jitsu academy or a judo academy or a wrestling club or an MMA gym. And you can just, like, as long as you're nice and respectful, you can train there. They might charge you a, $5 mat fee, maybe, but probably not.
Right.
Didn't even do that. So it's like, you can literally just drop in anywhere and you'll have friends. And you can hang out with these people. And most of the time, like, you'll be a visiting person and they'll want to get to know you. So, like, sometimes they offer to take you out for dinner, or, hang out the next day or whatever. And you make a new friend that way. And it's cool. You get to meet people all over the world. And like one organization I'm a big fan of is the BJJ Globetrotters, where it's just like a group that is basically committed to like hosting people. So it's like your academy can affiliate with Jiu-Jitsu Globetrotters and be a part of their organization, which basically says that anyone from anywhere is allowed to come train at your academy if you're visiting for a certain amount of time. And you can basically put your academy on this database and say like, hey, anyone's welcome is basically what you're saying. It's like an official thing, inviting people from around the world to come train.
That's cool.
So jiu-jitsu is just super cool like that. And yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this, but
no. I got you because I got what you're
as you do
saying.
your show, like everyone is pretty laid back, to say the least.
Yeah. But, because I was literally about to just like, just piggyback off what you were saying about, like this very wholesome and welcoming community that we are a part of is just so awesome because like last year, the past summer, me and my training partner, we was just going to like just take a weekend and just go visit different schools and just get some like different perspective on jiu-jitsu, how other people train and work and whatnot. And we wasn't able to do it, but I ended up fast forward a little bit, I ended up starting this podcast, and I've been meeting all people from across the world that does jiu-jitsu, and it's been like totally amazing. And I was thinking of like, okay, I love doing this. I love talking to people, and I also obviously love training. So I would like to do like visit schools and do the same, basically do the same thing I'm doing now, but it's just, training involved, but it's like a quick, maybe rapid, like succession questions for whoever's at the gym at the day. But, saying all that to say this, like I wouldn't necessarily feel comfortable doing that if I was doing any other martial art.
Right? Or if you were rock climbing.
Yeah.
Imagine if you were rock climbing, or if you were doing yoga.
Yeah. Like I wouldn't be able to like go to, like if I was doing anything else, to be able to walk into a gym or a club and be like, hey, I'm doing this and want to do this and blah blah blah. I'm like, nah, that's okay.
But jiu-jitsu people would be like, fuck yeah,
fuck
let's
yeah.
chill. Hell yeah, bro. That'd be great. It's awesome, man. That sounds like a great idea. You should come do that at our academy. Where do you live at, by the way?
Right now, I'm saying right now, like I just moved here, or I'm leaving, but I live in Detroit, Michigan.
Oh, cool. All right.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, if you're ever in Missouri, let me know. But dude, that's awesome.
I mean,
yeah,
I would love to eventually be able to go like across the state and, well, not state, but just across the country and potentially the world. Cause like I would love to sit down and meet and roll with everyone I had on the show. So
yeah,
that's a jiu-jitsu bucket list goal of mine, is to, be able to, visit and roll with everyone I had as a guest on my show.
Dude, that's a great bucket list item. That's awesome.
Yeah. So
that's a great bucket list. One of mine is I've gotten to train at so many different academies. Like I've literally had like 4 or 5 different teams over the course of my jiu-jitsu journey, just because I've trained trained judo and jiu-jitsu, so 2 different martial arts, and I've had I've moved like 4 or 5 times. So I've had like all these different teams all over the world, and I've always wanted to just have like a giant open mat with all of the savages from all of the teams, because I'm always in my head, I'm always thinking like, how would the one savage from the gym that I train at now, how would he do against the savage who used to kick my ass at the gym that I used to train at?
Right.
How would they? But the one guy's on the one side of the country and the other guy's on the other side of the country. So I'm secretly trying to scheme a way to do like a giant open mat or a tournament or something where we can figure this thing out, because I want to know, like, out of all these guys who kicked my ass, like which of them is actually the best. I think I'm just a crazy person, though.
No, that's a pretty dope idea. Pretty dope idea.
Hey, I think it'd be a great open mat.
It would be. And everyone would be like, all right, let's do it. Like I highly doubt if you get anyone to say no. I've never rolled with you, and I'm like, I'll come.
Fuck yeah. Yeah.
Like I'll see people like the people I've met from doing the podcast post like, oh, we're doing open mat today. I'm like, I'm on the way.
Dude.
Like I want it. Like I'm there. Anytime I get to do jiu-jitsu, I want to be there. So.
Me too, man. It's addicting. It's addicting.
So addicting. So addicting. Like we had a monster class yesterday, and one of our training partners, he was like, our striking coach at the gym wasn't having a class today, so he's like, y'all want to go on the mats? And I'm like, I'm looking at my phone like, yes, but my body like, nah, fam, we're on the rest of the day. like we have to kind of like, I won't say like coast because we have a tournament coming up, so I don't need to like overdo it. But I was like, man, I just want to go back to the mats, man. But I had to listen to my body.
No, that's good. That's good. You got to take it easy when you feel like you got to really do that.
Oh yeah. But do you compete?
Yeah, I do. I have not been crazy successful by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm going to be competing again at the end of February at AGF at the Arkansas State Championship. So I'm training for that. I'm going to start up a camp here in like 2 weeks. So our camps are pretty brutal. So I'm looking forward to that in a sadistic sort of way.
Nice. So
I'm excited.
You said what?
Said I'm excited.
Yeah, it sounds very exciting. So I got, like I said, I got a tournament next month on the 7th. And this will be my second tournament, but my first tournament as a brown belt.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm pretty excited, pretty nervous, and pretty anxious to get it done. And I told myself like, yeah, I'm gonna do a fight camp. Like I'm gonna try to be as serious about it as I possibly can. So like,
yeah,
when it came to you and the people that you picked, like what made you pick the people that you chose to be in your fight camp?
Well, they're the toughest people that I can find. That's really it. They're the toughest people in the area within driving distance. I mean, there's really no other way to put it. Like, I mean, I just try to find the toughest room that's within driving distance, and I just go train there. And I mean, obviously they're nice guys too. Like it's a good atmosphere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for me, it's just all about like, where's the toughest room? So yeah, it's Glory MMA Mountain Grove is the answer for me. That's for sure.
Right.
All the guys, purple belt and above. I mean, everyone there's really tough, but especially like purple belt and above is is a tough round to say the least.
That's nice. That's dope. Yeah, so it's not too many of us at my school. I think we have like a total of like 12 people. So it's very, very small. It's our instructor who's a black belt. We have 2 brown belts, which is me and my training partner / I guess you want to say competition coach now. We have one purple belt, 2 blue belts, and like about 5 or 6. Yeah, we got like about 5 or 6 white belts now.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so we get that weird phase where we're like, we'll be like 6-7 people, and then we'll just get like a busload of white belts that just show up. So yep. They all. I mean, it's awesome to see. It's awesome to see the school grow because it's just usually word of mouth. It's not like we have like ads on Facebook or anything. It's just people look up gyms, and when they pop up, and they don't never leave. So
that's awesome. Yeah, that says a lot. When customers never leave, it's pretty easy to run your business.
Yeah, like I
awesome.
absolutely like love my instructor's philosophy when it comes to jiu-jitsu, how he does business, how he runs his school. Very, very open doors. Not like, you come in, you're gonna, lock you in for like 3 years and all the other crazy mess. Like, no, it's very, very family based. Like everyone there is cool. We talk everybody talk to everybody every day. It's not like, oh, this person don't like that person. You know, they only going to train with this person. If that person shows up, no, everyone is just real cool with each other. So,
dude, that's awesome.
Yeah,
those are always my favorite gyms to visit or train at. Is ones like that.
Oh yeah. Cause like,
That's awesome.
It's like there's no mat. We don't have a mat. Well, we kind of have a mat bully, but we don't have a mat bully. But everyone's humble. Everyone's like, there's really no egos. No, because if you come visit, ain't no one's gonna try to kill you unless you turn up first. So that's how it. We usually are. But yeah, man.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, I'm very, very, very excited to like start competing because I want to compete a lot more. So I don't know. I'm just trying to pick people's brain about it, like how they get into that competitive mindset or how to get that like killer mentality. Because I'm such a like laid back person, and I'm also an instructor, so this is all new to me. Like I can't just like do jiu-jitsu to turn up, but I'm always in like teaching mode. So
right,
I gotta learn how to break that.
It's hard for me too. It's really hard for me, to be honest with you. Especially a big thing for me is I can't talk to the person I compete against. Like if I start talking to you, like if we're gonna compete against each other in a tournament and we start talking beforehand, if I make the mistake of talking to you, like we're probably gonna become friends. And then that's gonna suddenly make me less competitive. Like for me, if we're friends, I don't want to like kick your ass as hard. I don't know. It's weird. I'm just that kind of person. Like if I like you, I'm probably going to be less inclined to like shove my elbow in your jaw. I don't know. I'm nice. I'm a nice person. I don't know what to tell you. But if I don't know you or if I don't like you, then like maybe I don't care as much. I don't know. But that's like what I found in competition is like, don't talk to the person before you compete. Like be friends after. But before the tournament, like I made the mistake one time. I competed in Poland, and I became like good friends with the guy that I was going to compete against before I competed, like before the tournament. Like we were chilling for like most of the day. We got to know each other. Really nice guy. I forget what his name was, but we hung out for like a couple hours. We were like drinking coffee because we had like hours to chill, and it was just me and him in the division. And like we just chilled, and we were just like we were gonna have one match against each other, and I made the mistake of becoming this guy's friend. And then we went to competing. We went to compete against each other, and he just was able to snap into it. He was able to like be like, all right, time to fucking compete, and he kicked my ass. And I was like, wait a second, we're buddies. Like, what are you doing?
You betrayed me.
No, and he just like turned it up to level 10 and he beat me. And it was like a psychological thing. So that's something that I'm trying to work on is like, I know it sounds weird, but you almost have to like avoid liking the person. Like they're not your friend. They're not your friend. Not until like afterwards. You can be friends after. But that for me, like, because I'm a nice guy too. So that like, I don't know if that'll help you, but that's a mistake that I've had to learn the hard way. Is like, because it's hard, honestly. It's hard to like snap from 0 to 100 against someone if you're their friend. Yeah. I don't know why. But some people can do it. I cannot.
I can't, man.
If we're buddies and we're going to compete against each other, like, I'm just not going to be able to take it seriously. It's going to be, I'm going to go hard, but I'm like, I don't know. I think it's a psychological thing. I think that's what I'm getting at here. It's almost like it's hard for me to go as hard as other people, I think is what I'm saying. I'm still going hard, but I can tell that the other guy, something is in his head, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm making sense.
No. You make total sense. You're making total sense. Because that is, like I said, that's that issue that I have when I'm training, because I love these guys, love them like family. Obviously I'm not trying to hurt them or anything of the sort. But because when I was getting ready for my brown belt test, my instructor was like, you have to turn that killer instinct on. You got to do this and you got to do that. So I'm like, all right, cool. how the hell do I do that?
Ha!
So it's like, all
easier
right.
said than done.
I was like, yeah, it's easier said than
I'm a
done.
killer.
I'm like, I'm a
Real
killer.
quick.
I'm a savage.
Real
I'm
quick.
gonna rip this white belt's head off. Like, I'm like, how do I
Like,
turn
no,
this on,
man.
man? Like, please show
I know.
me. Like, show me the YouTube video where it teaches me how to turn my killer instinct on. It might be one on there while I'm playing, but
That would be a good BJJ Fanatics instructional. How to turn your killer instinct
how to
on.
turn your killer instinct on.
I need that.
Yes, we all do.
It's buried deep inside there somewhere.
Because I want to know. Because I want to go out and do this tournament, and I wanted to just give it just my all. Just leave it all on the mats, man.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, for me, I lost the last two, so I'm on a losing streak. So this was motivating me. It's like I can't lose this next one. I can't be on a 3-fight losing streak. That's too much.
I'm only on a 1, so it still hurts though. But
yes, it does. So that's where I'm at. I'm like, okay, let's fucking go. But so for me, it's like I think I have to always get to a certain point, and I've experienced this in business too, and just in like my life in general, at different areas. It's like you have to sometimes get to a certain point where you're like, fuck it, I just can't lose. Like if I lose, then I'm just can't live with that.
mm-hmm.
Like for me, it's like 3 losses just sounds unacceptable. I can't do that. Like I just have to win. So
yeah,
I'm just gonna do everything. Just gonna work my ass off, work as hard as I can. But it's I think that's all you can do.
Yeah,
if you
pretty
lose,
much.
then, oh well.
Yeah, if you lose, oh well. So, because
what my coach Mike Morgan, he says all the time to us, like anytime we lose, he always says the same thing. He's like, the only reason that you lost is because the wrong guy walked in the door and the right guy didn't. He's like, you got unlucky, basically. Like the wrong guy walked in that day and signed up for the tournament. It's like, because he always says, especially like a guy like you who's a brown belt, I'm sure that you're really, I'm sure that if you were to lose or if I were to lose, your teammates just think, wow, the other guy must be really good.
Mm-hmm.
They don't ever think like, oh man, Lamar's sucking. Like, no one ever thinks that. If someone ever beats my teammate, I'm always like, wow, that guy must be really fucking good because my teammate's, amazing. So we always think the best of our teammates.
Yeah, you got to.
You get what I'm saying. I think at the end of the day, like the people that care, the people that matter don't care.
Right. Yeah. Like when I did the first tournament, it was kind of like let's just kind of go out there and see what happens type deal. So I'm not gonna say I didn't take it serious, but I didn't take it as serious as I needed to be. Now that I go back and look at it, but this one, I'm putting in the work, I'm putting in the time, I'm putting in the effort. So hopefully when I do this one, it'll be a more different outcome. Even if I still lose, if the match even goes longer than the first time I competed, I feel like that will be a victory. But from here on out, it will be, okay, I'm going to take whatever happens in this match, win or lose, learn from it, and just, keep going and just, do as many as I can this year.
Yeah, totally, man. Totally. One of the best things that's helped me, and I'd recommend to anyone, is like just go to a lot of open mats, as many as you can. Just train at other gyms, if you can, like stop at open mats and see if you can get other looks. That's a big thing. Because I think a lot of times we just lose in tournaments to a move that we just haven't seen before, because no one at your academy plays that game or something. So
right.
Open mats help a lot. I don't know if you go to open mats a lot, but they help a lot with just, getting new looks in. That way you just don't get caught by surprise.
Yeah. That's kind of like my my goal to do that, to try to hop in some open mats if I can find a few jiu-jitsu gyms around me. Cuz it's just like a free, just like basically a free tournament in a sense. Like, you roll it with someone you haven't met before, so you get to new style. Also, you get to meet new people and so on and so forth. So, starting next month, I'm gonna start doing that if I just get to do like 1 or 2 a month, just to go find a different school to just roll and meet new people at,
Yeah, it helps so much, man. It's a lot of fun. And it's always such a melting pot these days because you never know who's going to show up.
Right. Yeah, man. And I think about that and it's like, man, why didn't I like figure this out sooner? Like, why didn't I figure this out like earlier in my jiu-jitsu journey? But yeah, better late than never, right?
It's like they always say the best time to start was 20 years ago, and the second best time to start is today. Yeah. So what can you do?
Right. What can you do? But
yeah,
keep it going, man.
Hey man, I gotta wrap this up. It's getting to be my bedtime.
Oh, okay, no problem, man. Just real quick, if you wanna, shout out your school, or if there's anything you got coming up at your school or for yourself, go ahead and then we can wrap it up.
Yeah, man. So anyone listening, if you want, you can come train at Glory MMA in Mountain Grove, Missouri. I also go to an open mat every Sunday in Springfield, Missouri, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So it's like a 6-hour window every Sunday at Springfield Fight Club. So if you're ever in the Springfield area, that's a great place to come train. Just drop in anytime in that 6-hour window. And I'm usually there. I usually get there around like 12:30. But yeah, and if you want to learn more about jiu-jitsu and how it helps mental health, go to jujitsuoutlet.com or look up the Jiu-Jitsu Outlet podcast. You can find it on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple, and everywhere else. But the show is all about how jiu-jitsu helps with mental health, and we publish new episodes as often as I can record them and publish them. So sometimes that's once a week, sometimes it's every day. Yeah, but I try to publish as often as I can. I think we're about to hit episode 50 probably next week. So
nice.
Check it out.
Congratulations. I definitely will, man. Definitely will.
Thanks, man.
But yeah, we'll definitely talk more about that at a later date. But
yeah, dude, we'll have to get you on my podcast and do an episode.
Yeah, man. Anytime. But that's the end of today's episode. I would like to thank my guest Paul again for coming on and sharing some of his experience and tales with us. Hope you guys learn something from it. Please go and follow our Facebook and Instagram pages to stay up to date on all future episodes. This has been Talk Your Jits podcast. Keep rolling, keep grinding, and remember, long live jiu-jitsu. Have a great day. And we're